off we go. So
the consummate dad.
yes, well, wrapped around a 2-year-old's finger.
As it should be.
Yes, as it should be.
As it should be.
Hi, guys. This is our first ever city council meeting.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Where did that voice come
Okay,
Right there.
from? Oh,
from a little square at the top of your screen.
oh, Madam Chair, it's 6 o'clock.
It is. So Steve, are we ready? Okay. With that, I will welcome everyone. Good evening, and on behalf of the City of Independence, we want to welcome you to this virtual planning commission meeting, sorry. For the convenience of those participating in tonight's meeting, I would like to remind all in attendance, both the public and commissioners, to mute your phones, to mute yourselves, and when you're not speaking, especially to prevent distraction and unwanted disruption. Staff will be enforcing this and monitoring those in attendance for questions during the public hearing. During the public hearing portion of the meeting, staff will call on those who have requested to speak in the order that you signed up. Following that, anyone else who wishes to speak will be recognized. For those who wish to speak tonight, please remember to address all comments and questions to the chair and keep your comments brief and to the point. If you agree with the previous comment, simply indicate that you agree. To expedite tonight's meeting, I'll ask that those of you who wish to testify or believe that you might like to testify to please be sworn in. So to the best of your ability, if you will unmute and raise your right hand. All of those who wish to speak or think that they might like to speak. Do you solemnly swear to tell the whole truth before this commission? If so, please answer, I do.
I do.
I do.
Thank you. Okay, so the first item on our agenda is, commissioners, we need to continue case number 21-200-01, which is a special permit to allow automobile sales. It's number 2 on the agenda. So if I could get a motion to continue that.
Madam
Madam
Chair.
Chairman, you could continue both number 1 and number 2.
Oh, okay.
Madam Chair, this is Joe.
Yes.
I move to continue case 21-100-04 and case number 23-200-01 to the next Planning Commission meeting in May.
Thank you. And that will be May 11th. Do we have a second?
I second.
Well, the second one's 21, not 23. I thought. Just FYI.
We are in the Noland. Okay, we're ready for vote.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes. And I neglected to do roll call of the commissioners. Do we still need to do that?
Well, the vote shows that they are all here.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. Next item, case 21-0100-05, rezoning, a request to rezone a property at 1801 South M7 Highway for District C1, Neighborhood Commercial, to District RA, Residential Agricultural. City, would you give us a report, please?
Yes, Don and Lisa Parker request to rezone their property at 1801 South M7 Highway from C1 Neighborhood Commercial to RA, which is Residential Agriculture. The site is on the southeast corner of East Truman Road and M7 Highway. The site is shown as the little notch on the southeast corner of this of the vicinity map here. Okay, let me go on here that I get this thing to go on. Does it want to go on? It doesn't want to progress. Hold on. Let me see. Hang on just a minute.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, this is the zoning for the area. The applicant's property is in that blue circle there that is pink shaded. The green is RA zoned property. The yellow, which is a property that was done as part of the project years ago, is owned residential. The part that is not zoned or shown as zoned, but is an aerial photograph, is actually part of the property that's in unincorporated Jackson County. Okay, this is the comprehensive plan for the area. So you can see the M78 78 highway goes through there for a reference. And then you've got 7 highway goes down the right side of the screen there. And with a little circle shows the location of the site, which is a residential neighborhood. This is the aerial photograph of the site. You can see it's in the oval. The applicant's house is shown on the east side, which is the right side of the screen. There's an electrical substation across the street from across Highway 7 to the northwest. The Lake City ammunition plant is to the north, which is just out of this photo. This is the rezoning plat. Shows the boundaries of the property in the dark rectangle there, or polygon. And then the property owners within 185 feet that did receive a notice of this meeting. Okay, here we're actually standing on the electrical substation power plant substation across the street from the applicant's property, which is there on the right. Truman Road is going east from this point, and M7 highway is right in front of us. Okay, here we're looking south down M7 highway. The property's to the left, which is the east in this photograph. As you can see, there's quite the terrain. It goes into a ravine here, basically. That is a picture of the bottom of it. It's probably 30, 40 feet from the grade of the highway down into this ravine. Here we're on Truman Road, east of 7 highway, looking into the site from across the road. This little portion of the site is bounded by some fir trees or evergreen trees. There's our little rezoning sign. Okay, this is the property on the north side of Truman Road. That's part of the Lake City ammunition plant. Can't really see in this photograph very well, but there's fencing in the road around the perimeter of the site. This is the applicant's property. That's his house there. The subject property would be to the right off of the picture. And this is also this fence continues from his house property down onto into the ravine, and the subject site is just on the other side of this dark tree here on the right side of the screen. And this is the other property that's on C1, which is south of this site. I understand it was a former gas station. Right now, it's either vacant or being used for residential purposes. Staff does recommend approval of this rezoning application.
Thank you, Stuart. Would the applicant like to speak to this project and kind of give us an idea on what you are going to do? Please introduce yourself and your address. Can't hear you.
Andrea Parker, are you there? Ms. Parker, are you there?
We can see you, just can't hear you. And you are unmuted.
Perhaps if they
No.
call in using the phone number.
Yeah. You can call in using the number, the phone number, that might help.
And if you do that, please, just on the off chance that you will have speakers playing at the same time, you might turn your volume down on your computer speakers.
Nope, can't hear you.
And,
Can Miranda call them or?
hang on here a minute. See if I can.
I'm trying to
Now
call
is
now.
when you need the piano music.
Okay, now try talking. Oh, there's gonna be feedback.
Is she there? Ms. Parker, are you there?
Give us just a minute.
Okay.
Your call has been forwarded. All right, they have the phone number, so they're calling in now. There was too much feedback otherwise.
Thank you, Miranda.
Okay, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I'm Don Parker and I own the property and my daughter, we're cutting that up to build her a house. I think she's getting like 5.85 acres to build the house on.
Okay,
Commercial. Go ahead.
sorry. Can you introduce yourself one more time and give us your address?
Okay, I'm Don Parker. I own the property. My address is 25711 East Truman Road, and that's Independence, Missouri. And then, like I said, we're cutting it up. We've had it surveyed and everything. It's going to be 5.85 acres, including the two lots up in front that's zoned commercial that we're trying to rezone to residential. It's kind of useless land. I mean, there ain't much you can do with it. It's a big ravine. But like I said, we're just going to build a home for our daughter.
Commissioners, do you have any questions of Mr. Parker?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I pose this question to both staff and to the applicant. Is either party aware of any use during the time it was zoned commercial, that use would pose some impediment to a residential application? Again, that question to both staff and to the applicant.
Well, we are not, from a staff standpoint, we are not aware of any projects or buildings or other things that occurred on that site. There's no hidden buried gas tanks or anything like that that we are aware of.
Mr. Parker,
I'm not aware. Yeah, I'm not aware of anything. I bought the property 3 years ago and we built our house on it, but down in front, I don't know of anything down there. Just there's some fiber optic cables, some water lines coming up here. There's all I know.
So no use that you're aware of would be some impediment to safe use as a residence?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a good question. Anyone
Madam
else?
Chair,
Yes.
I do. Mr. Mitch Parker, you own 4 lots?
Well, there's
Three.
a total of 30. There's a total of 34 acres there.
So are we rezoning the whole 34 acres or just these 3 lots?
Just the 3 lots that's up in front, we're going to rezone them, the commercial lots to residential agriculture.
I see. So your home's built on lot 4?
My home's built, I'll have to look at the deal. I think my home's built on lot 2. There should be like a lot 2 part of my house. I got like, I think it's 5 acres in the city limits, and I got like 23 or 28 acres in the county.
Agriculture. So you got 2, 3, and 4. So you might build on all 3 of those lots?
No, my house where it sits, I'm keeping that land, and then we got one down below us that's in the county we're going through right now for my son to build a house on, but it's down on farther down Truman Road.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions for the applicant? Is there anyone here who would like to speak for the project? Is there anyone here who would like to speak against the project? Okay. If the commissioners have no more questions of the applicant, I'm going to close the public hearing part. Commissioners, do you have any more questions of the city staff, or is somebody ready to make a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
given there are no known impediments for this transition from neighborhood commercial to residential agriculture, I therefore move that case number 21-100-05 be changed for the zoning pursuant to the presentation.
So the motion is for approval.
That is a motion for approval, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ferguson. Seconded. Okay, we're ready for roll.
Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle, sorry.
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes. Case number 21-100-05, rezoning of 1801 South M7 Highway has passed. Congratulations and thank you for your patience with our audio and appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Are we allowed to?
Can we sign off now?
Pardon?
Can we go
Yes,
off
you
now?
can.
You can't.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next case, case number 21-0100-06. Rezoning for Joshua Mygat, request to rezone property from C2 general commercial to R12 two-family residential. So Stuart, you want to give us a report?
Okay, hang on just a minute. Yeah, Joshua Mygat request to rezone the property of 16403 East 3rd Street North from C2 General Commercial to R12 two-family residential to eventually construct a two-family dwelling. The site is south of East 3rd Street, just east of M291 highway. Okay, this is the zoning for the area. As you can see, here's a property. The subject property is in the blue oval there, and it's kind of the segue property from commercial along 291 to single family residential to the east. This is the comprehensive plan which recommends neighborhood residential uses for the site. You can see this whole area is designated for that. Okay, this is the aerial photograph of the site with the applicant's property there in the red oval. As you can see, north of there is a little restaurant, Little Richard's Restaurant, I believe. And then to the west is 291 Highway and also a small restaurant. And then to the south is another larger restaurant. And then to the east are single family homes. This is the zoning plat for the property. Again, you can see the site there in the middle of the picture with the 185 feet shown. Those were the property owners that did receive the notice of this public hearing. Okay, this is, we're looking east across the site from the western side. That's one of the houses that are in the single family subdivision to the east. As you can see, the site's fairly level. It slopes slightly to the east, but generally is a fairly level site. The trees are on the rear part of the property, which is the south. This is another picture of the site. Again, you can see there's a slight elevation from the road to the main part of the site, but it does slope generally to the east. The brown building there on the right is a restaurant. And this is another one that shows the site, again, with the trees on the back portion of the property. The two buildings which are to the east of the, to the west of the site. This is the small diner that's on that corner. It's directly west of the location. It's a new building, a new business there. I think it used to be a gas station years ago. Okay, here we're looking down East 3rd Street with the applicant's property there on the right at the residential houses that lead into the subdivision. This is the other restaurant that's directly across the street from the applicant's property. This house is to the northeast of the applicant's site, leads into the neighborhood. It's kind of a standard house design for this area. And that is the house that is directly east of the applicant's property, which is on the right side of the screen there.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions of staff before we ask the applicant to come speak?
Madam Chair?
Yeah, I do that.
Commissioner Weir?
Stuart, will this residential being so close to the other commercial properties there, will it affect their possibility of different businesses being opened, being that close to a residential?
You mean as far as liquor licensing? That would be the only thing that would affect.
That I think the diner right next door to it, I think they did sell liquor recently.
Well, if they were in existence prior to this being zoned to residential in a house being built here, that would not affect their licensing.
But I don't know what's there now. You said it's a new diner, but
Well, I mean, it's been there a few months or maybe a year.
but say they wanted to put alcohol in there, that could be an issue, couldn't it?
Well, it would require, I believe it would require a majority vote, a super majority approval of the city council for a liquor license to be, as is so close to a residential property.
That's the only thing I can see that could be, we're encroaching in on these commercial businesses. Thank you.
Commissioner Preston?
Question again is, does staff have any knowledge of any prior use during the life of the general commercial zoning that would serve as some impediment to residential use?
Well, I've been here for 20 years and that property's been vacant that entire time. I'm not aware of any previous use for this property at all. Maybe the applicant has other knowledge, but I don't have anything.
So on both sides, it's commercial, correct? That's what I'm seeing on the map.
That's right.
Oh, just lost the page. But there's really only a few businesses in existence that are even open, right?
Well, Little Richard Restaurant had an issue with a fire and some damage, and they're in the process of rebuilding, but there is some commercial, vacant commercial property out there. That's right.
Okay.
No wonder.
Yeah, there's an old Wonder Bread store down the street from there.
Oh, that's right.
Or Butternut or something.
Okay. Well, I think we'll go ahead and bring the applicant forward. So if you will unmute and give your name and address.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
This is Joshua Mygett. The address is 16403 East 3rd Street North, and we're looking to rezone from C2 to R12.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're planning?
Just to do a simple duplex there. There's a couple of other duplexes that are in the area that's been done on vacant lots that would fit on that lot pretty well. With the commercial zoning that's there right now, to structure a commercial building, you're just not going to have enough room for parking or anything else.
How many units are you thinking about putting there?
Just one duplex, 2 units.
One unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the way the sewer line falls on that southeast corner of the lot, if I split that lot up, the engineer said I'd have to do something crazy to get the sewer line for both lots. I don't think it'd be feasible.
Stuart, can you take it back to the picture where we can actually see the lot? And then do
Okay.
any commissioners have any questions of the applicant?
Madam Chair, I think he gave the lot address versus his personal address. Is that correct? Do we need his personal address?
Yes, we do need your personal address. I'm sorry, good catch.
No problem. It's 1908 North
Yeah.
Tonga Drive here in Independence.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's helpful. Thank you. That picture. Does anybody have any questions of the applicant?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
when did the applicant acquire the property?
Let me see what my close date was. Looks around
Has it
February.
been in the last 15 years?
Yeah, it was recent, February 2nd of 21.
All right. My question is answered by your statement there, that it has been vacant land for some 20 years. So no further
Yes.
questions.
I have a weird question / observation. Would there be any way you would consider doing something that had a commercial component to it, such as a apartment complex where the bottom part was like storefront, and then the top part had the ability to live work almost, something like that would add to the area?
To be honest with you, I hadn't put that into consideration. Again, I think because of the size of it, you're going to have an issue with trying to get that structure up and get parking to accommodate all that.
Any other?
That's a lot.
Go ahead.
Mr. Vonnegut, this is Joe. Have you spoken to any of the other commercial property owners around you?
I have not.
It's not really a big lot. I mean, it's for a residential property, it is a little bigger than normal, but for a commercial, it's not that. It doesn't have, which is just north. Maybe office would be good, but otherwise it wouldn't. Everybody.
Did you say that you hadn't?
Talking to Joshua.
Did you say that you hadn't spoken to any of the other property owners? Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions of the applicant before we see if there's anybody who would like to speak for the project? Okay, city staff, is there anybody who would like to speak for the project?
You didn't have anyone sign up to speak tonight.
Okay, either for or against. Is there anybody who would like to speak against the project? Since there's none, I will close the public portion of this. Commissioners, any thoughts or motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
in that there are no known adverse use during the period of general commercial in the matter of case number 21-100-06, rezoning from C2 general commercial to R12 two-family residential, I move for approval.
Is there a second?
I second.
Commissioner Wiley. I have here. Okay, we're ready.
Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
Yes.
Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Madam Chairman McLean.
Yes. Case number 21-100-06 has been approved. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next case is case 21-810-01, approval of an amended preliminary development plan for Cargo Largo at 3232 South Noland Road. We're ready for a report.
Dan Jensen, on behalf of Cargo Largo, seeks approval of an amended preliminary development plan for its proposed store warehouse at 3232 South Noland Road. The site is on the west side of Noland Road at the future East 33rd Street, north of its current location. This is the zoning for the area. As you can see, it was zoned C2 PUD probably 12 years ago or so. They had a site plan approved, and then the project didn't take off, and they had it approved again about 5 years ago, and now they're back again to have the preliminary site plan updated. This is the comprehensive plan for the property. It is shown as business park for the for the proposed store, and actually for the property that's along 31st Street to the north. The current location is designated for residential. The Unilever property, which is to the west of this site, is also zoned for business park. This is the aerial photograph of the site with the proposed store warehouse and its improvements imposed upon the picture. On this slide, the north is to the right. The Noland Road is at the bottom of the slide. The future improved Weatherford Road is at the top of the slide. The future East 33rd Street is shown crossing the railroad tracks across from the high school. This is the actual site plan with more information. This building contains a mixture of retail, office, and warehouse uses within the 524,000 plus square foot structure. Customer and employee parking is on the south and east sides of the building. On the west side is an area for truck parking and warehouse docks. Along the new Weatherford Road is the detention basin, as is shown on the top of the slide there. This is the landscaping for the site, a preliminary landscape plan. It shows the usual landscaping islands in the parking lot, landscaping around the parking lot itself, and then around the building. This is the design and colors of the building itself. The Noland Road elevation is to the right, and the East 33rd elevation is on the left, which is also the main entrance to the store. It's constructed of tilt-up concrete panels, which are poured on the site. The walls are a combination of gray and white with vertical blue accents. And the building is about 40 feet in height. This shows basically all four elevations of the property. The top row of the building is actually the east elevation, which is the Noland Road elevation. You can see the design standards of the white taller with the vertical blue ribbons are predominant across the elevation. The second is the south elevation. It's the front or the store side. It has the big Cargo Largo sign above the entranceway into the store itself. The west elevation is the warehouse side, I guess you could call it. As you can see, it has numerous loading docks along this side. The north elevation is on the bottom and is at this time basically featureless. Okay, here we're in the Truman High School parking lot looking across Noland Road at the future East 33rd Street. That's one of the storage bins for the Unilever plant in the background. This railroad crossing was put here, I believe, in 2010, something like that, 2009 perhaps. It was built in anticipation of this project. Here we're actually standing on 33rd Street. This is the railroad that goes south towards 35th Street. That's part of the Cargo Largo property building store off the distance there. You can see all the signals are in place for the railroad crossing. Here we're looking due west into the site. This is 33rd Street. Will continue west and connect up to Weatherford Road, which will be also constructed as part of this. The site for the store, warehouse, and the parking and all the site improvements are to the right of the picture on that field there on the right. Okay, here we're right behind the barriers of 33rd Street. As you can see, the barriers are down at the bottom of the picture there. Looking south at traffic coming down, going north on Noland Road. And we're looking the other way, again, the same location. You can see the barriers. We're standing on the other side of the barriers there at 33rd Street, looking north at traffic coming south. And this is looking due east at the front of the high school, which was not in session that day when I was there. Okay, here we're on the north side of the site. This is where Weatherford Road will continue south from its current terminus just south of 31st Street. Right now, the road partially is used, follows the right-of-way somewhat, but it's just a gravel surface road for the Unilever plant and the applicant's property. This is Weatherford Road looking north. 31st Street is down there about where you'd see the cell tower. Right now, 31st Street is used for mostly warehousing and service type uses and not very busy. Okay, now we're on the south side of the site looking to the northeast. We're in the cul-de-sac of what is now called Lynn Court, but it's actually going to be Weatherford Road at the applicant's site, which is just on the other side of the trees. This site is actually, this mowed area is part of the store. I guess you'd call it the store property. This is the back of the store. Again, the new site is to the left off the screen. And then this is, we're looking south down Lynn Court, which will be Weatherford Road. This is the library is there on the right. The applicant's store is on the left. 35th Street is just down at the where this other car is here, down at the there is, it's just 35th Street is right down there. Staff does recommend approval of this preliminary development plans with the conditions listed below. The north elevation wall needs some variation in color and design to break up the wall expanse. Number two is, while most of the required plantings have been provided, the landscape plan needs to be updated to current standards and include the landscaped open space requirement of section 14-50304. Number three is bicycle racks must be provided. See section 14-50108. Then the permissive uses for the property includes all C2 and I1 uses permitted by right, plus any C2 special use permits, special uses granted by the city council in accordance with city code procedures. The sheet C1.1 needs to be updated with the current language. When this came through originally, probably 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whenever it was, because of the amount of mixture of uses here, we had some office uses and then a large retail component, and then an even larger wholesale or warehousing component. It was a mixed bag on how to rezone this property. So we arrived at the decision to rezone it C2, general commercial, with a PUD designation that would allow for a mixture of uses. However, we included in the ordinance itself restraint on those uses that would limit it to certain things and not just be open for all types of uses. Okay, number 6 is the Independence Power and Light will need an easement for the transformer serving the building and the conduit installed on South Weatherford Road and East 33rd Street for street lights and street light installation. Cargo Largo is to have their engineer firm contact IPL for pre-building permit to submittal to work out details. Number 7, the proposed 35th Street Court Weatherford Road cross-section should extend down to 35th Street. The traffic signal plans must also be submitted. Then 5-foot sidewalks must be provided along all street frontages. What the applicant has proposed in lieu of a sidewalk on a part of the Weatherford Road, on the west side of Weatherford Road, is a trail. They can elaborate on that. I think it's mentioned in the staff report. Instead of a 5-foot concrete sidewalk, they're going to go with a wider asphalt trail that will go along there that will eventually be picked up by the city Parks Department and have an offshoot off to the northwest, which will connect up to the trail system that goes around to the conservation property. Then access to the road to the north must be 26 feet in wide or greater due to on the north side of the building or greater due to the ladder tower placement and fire hydrants. And then the site improvements as listed in this road, the street improvements as listed in this report are to be constructed in accordance with the construction of the new building and site improvements. And that's my staff report.
That's a lot. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions of city before we have the applicant tell us a little bit about it?
What came before us in 2019 with this project? Is this an amended? Are we seeing this again because it's amended?
Well, actually, the preliminary site plans are good for a couple of years and then they expire. So that's one thing. And then they also increase the size of the building by somewhere around 50,000 square feet from before. It's on the expansion's on the west side of the building. So it is somewhat of amended, but primarily it is the previous site plan had expired.
Okay. So just I'm trying to wrap my head around it. So Weatherford Road will come, it's coming off of Noland anyway, but so it'll exit out by the library, is that right?
Yeah, hang on here and I'll go to that.
This conference will now be recorded.
Whatever that was.
City 7 kicked us off, so now we're recorded. Kidding.
Okay. The one picture that I showed you of the cul-de-sac where the Weatherford Road is was gravel, right up here. There. There will be it will go south and then turn and go to the southeast somewhat, and then eventually curve around again and then connect up to what is now Lynn Court, which is right there by the library, that cul-de-sac that we saw in the earlier photograph.
Okay.
And then 33rd Street, which is the on the left side of the screen there, is going to cross the railroad tracks, come almost due west, and then connect up to Weatherford Road.
Perfect. Thank you for that clarification. Does anybody else have any questions before we have the applicant? Okay. So who is speaking first or, okay. Give your name and your address, please.
I'm Dan Jensen with Kessinger and Hunter, 2600 Grand, Kansas City, Missouri. I'm the developer for the project, and with me tonight here is Deepak, the owner of Cargo Largo, as well as we have our architect and engineer online if there are any technical questions. We're delighted to be back before you all again. We think we're going to get her done this time, we hope. There's been a lot of excitement going on in the past couple of years. As everyone knows, this project, Cargo Largo, is doing very well with growth. There's lots going on. They're very involved in the reverse logistics side of the business. And as we all know, e-commerce is exploding. That's one of the reasons for the expansion of the building. But on the negative side of it, we also feel like we're chasing a speeding bullet or a train trying to keep up with increasing costs. So we're here before you all tonight to have our preliminary plan approved. But our ability to bring this forward to completion and to fruition this time is going to be very heavily dependent upon the approval of the economic incentive package that will be coming before the city soon. So we are very optimistic that we'll get together on that. But tonight, we're here showing you our building. The one thing, Stuart, to add to your analysis or summary of the building, on the east side, we also have detention, which is subsurface. And so there is detention there. It is also, the building is designed with knockout panels on the east side. A building this large would be catastrophic to build it with one-sided loading. That wouldn't be good for Cargo Largo. It wouldn't be good for the city. Cargo Largo functions well with one-sided loading, which is why they're only going to build the docks on the west side. But the building is designed that there could be additional docks someday on the east side if another user, if Cargo Largo outgrows this building and moves to another beautiful new building in Independence, that someone else could use this building the way cross-dock, big box facilities are meant to be used. With that, I will be quiet and let Dee talk to you all. And again, if there's any questions, we're happy to address them.
Perfect, thank you. Dee, we need to unmute and give your name and address.
Good evening. My name's Deepak. Business address is 5414 East Front Street, Kansas City, Missouri.
Is that your home address?
You want my home address? Okay. 4900 West 83rd Terrace, Prairie Village, Kansas 66207.
Thank you.
So, we first joined the Independence community 35 years ago, sort of hard to believe, and in a building that was originally a Alice Chalmers parts distribution warehouse on the south side of this site. At that time, all of our entire business was in about half the building, and another tenant was in the other half. And won't bore you with all the in between, but now we are spread out in a total of 6 buildings, about 665,000 square feet in the 6 buildings. And as the timeline would indicate, we've long had a dream of consolidating all our operations under one roof on this site. And for any number of reasons along the way, it didn't happen. It certainly wasn't for lack of resources that we put into it. But we're at a point now where we do think it is viable. And we hope to be a community member for another 35 years. As Dan said, this is a big project. It's an expensive project. there's a lot to it. I probably should talk for a bit about what we add to the community. So we currently have approximately 320 jobs in Kansas City, Missouri. We're generating well north of $10 million in taxable revenue, sales tax revenue in Kansas City, Missouri. We attract a lot of customers, let's say probably at 1,200 anyway in the other sales venues that are in per week in Kansas City, Missouri. And so when we fully occupy this building, which as you might imagine, it's a big space and we're moving from numerous buildings, it'll probably take 4 to 6 months, but all that benefit moves from Kansas City to Independence when we're open for business. And we're excited to do it. I mean, hopefully Independence feels we've been good for the community. Independence has certainly been good for our business. And as I said before, we hope to continue that relationship. Economic incentives are an important piece of this. So as Dan mentioned, we have had ongoing discussions with the city and fully anticipate that they'll reach a positive outcome. They're certainly going down that path now. So that is sort of the big picture. I could talk about other aspects of it, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Anybody have any questions? Wow, this group is silent. Well, I'm amazed.
I have a question. This is Virginia.
Go ahead.
Can you remember back, I think 2018, when we had the impact study in regards to the train arms and Noland Road, what the traffic was going to be like backed up when those arms are down? Can you remember what was the ending decision on that?
I think I have a pretty good memory, but you got me on this one. We do have our engineer, I saw his name on the...
Yeah, Mitch, can you jump in here?
Well, the only thing I can remember was that they were going to install signage that said that there would be no right turns if the arms were down and the lights were on. But that's a long time ago. I can't remember for sure what was decided.
This is Mitch Lambeth. I'm with Trans Systems, the engineers for this project, civil engineers for this project.
Can you give us your... Yeah, thank you.
My address is 12916 West 78th Street, Lenexa, Kansas. There is a detailed traffic impact study that was performed in 2018. There was one that was done in 2008, and then we updated it at that time. I don't recall specifically. I do know that there is a requirement to coordinate the lighting signals with not only the train signals, but with also the signals at the intersection of 35th Street. Just in general, at any time where you have a right turn near a train crossing like that, there's standard signage that is put in place to guide the traffic, basically to let them know that there is no turn available at that time, in addition to the signals and the lights that are in place.
Thank you. I believe that that was the final decision, was that there was going to be substantial signage.
And timing of the lights, I vaguely remember that also. Of the signals. Any
And
other
we would
questions?
comply.
Madam Chair, I have a question.
Commissioner Mitchell.
In looking at the traffic impact study, I'm going to summarize here just for confirmation, but it appears that, you know, we've got left, if you're thinking about northbound traffic on Noland Road, you've got a left turn lane, you've got right and left turn lanes there at the center median. So obviously traffic coming from the southbound can turn right into or turn left into the development with, you know, obviously with the new signalization that's happening there. The study also, if I'm remembering correctly, said that no right turn lane coming from southbound traffic into the development at 33rd was going to be required. And I'm just asking for some confirmation there because, as we all know, Largo is an extremely popular destination, not only for people that live here in Independence, but also people in the surrounding communities. I do agree that most of the traffic is going to probably come from the south, but is everybody comfortable that, you know, folks waiting to turn into this development, in the case of a train being there and not being able to turn off of southbound Noland Road, westbound onto 33rd Street, is not going to cause an adverse impact on traffic traveling southbound on Noland Road when it's constrained potentially to just one lane going southbound?
Does anybody have an answer or a thought?
I have a thought. I think it's going to be very, very congested. I think the traffic is going to be backed up substantially on Noland Road if there is a train to turn right into that property across the railroad tracks.
All right, then I'll tell you. Go ahead, Dee.
If I may offer an observation, and that is today when the train is blocking those tracks, it's blocking 35th Street, it's blocking 31st Street, it's blocking Osage. So what happens today is that traffic backs up instead of from what in this case would be 33rd Street, it backs up from 35th Street. So that is a condition, so to speak, that we live with today. There has been talk of, in a second phase, adding a southbound right-hand turn lane into the project.
Mr. Pack, is there, you know, thinking about doing that, has that been vetted out from an engineering standpoint that there's enough right of way there to do that without getting too close to the tracks?
I believe so, but Mitch, you want to opine on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak too full, but the track is curving away from Noland at that point for where it was paralleling. So yes, there should be room. The length of it may be limited, but there would be room.
Thank you.
Or you can do my secret way is to go down Chrysler to 35th, but you can't tell anybody. There's no train tracks that way.
All of us locals know that trick.
Right. I mean, definitely the locals know that that's not how you get there, that you go around the back. So people will learn that soon enough, I think.
Yeah, and with the Weatherford Road improvements and the connection to Lynn Court, you know, 31st Street is far less traveled, but you can still get to Chrysler that way. I think it gives a couple different options for folks to kind of take the shortcut to the rear. I would ask if there's any, and this may have been mentioned in the report, and maybe I've just lost track of it. Is there any, aspirational thoughts about what might happen on tract B and C, and what might happen to the existing Cargo Largo facility that's there? I know it's subject to market conditions, and some of that language is in in your write-up, Mr. Pack, and Mr. Jensen. But I just thought, if you have any thoughts about what aspirationally you might want to do there, would be suitable from a business standpoint.
We suspect, as it relates to the existing retail building, that we will repurpose it for our own use. Dan mentioned our connection to e-commerce. We're sort of tied at the hip due to the nature of our business and what we process for major freight carriers. And between the growth in e-commerce and our own e-commerce efforts, we really suspect that building will be extremely useful.
And would you go ahead, Mr. Jensen?
And then on tract C, there have been possibly some destination retail that might want to make to be close to the traffic generation that Cargo Largo creates, the draw there. But that, again, as you indicated, it would be a market-driven scenario.
Understood. I believe my last question relates to the north elevation. As is stated in the city comments and stipulations for approval, that would need to get dressed up some. Would it be the intention to just continue the architectural language from the east side of the building around the corner? Assuming we'll see that in subsequent submissions.
We understand the desire to make some breakups back there to make it not look like such a large wall. We'd like to do some of that with some fenestrations and on the elevation and color. Quite frankly, we can do quite a bit with color differentials that we just haven't done at this point. But I think that was even as directed by staff, was that they thought through some color and lines that we could break that up better.
Mm-hmm. Given the inside program space, I'm glad to see that we've got exterior glazing, bringing natural light into those work areas. Given the inside, and then maybe this is a comment or a question for city staff as well. Given the inside program areas of the facility, would it be beneficial or would it be economically disadvantageous for you to add some glazing on the north side as well as some higher clear story windows?
Well, inside that wall, you're going to have narrow racking that's going to be floor to ceiling. So those windows would have very little penetration to the interiors, I guess is my point. That's going to be a large portion of the inventory staging area and racking area along that north elevation.
Understood. It looks like it goes about, I'm looking at sheet A2.1, it looks like it goes about halfway through the building to the west, and then presumably you'd have the impact of the western glazing on that side of the building where it appears to be more open.
Yep.
Okay.
I had a question about lighting, parameter lighting, and what you're going to use. And how tall?
Well, it'll all be LED, and it's going to be as tall and bright and safe as it can be without bothering any of the adjacent neighbors. Okay. I mean, that's the intent. We want to cover the site with light and make it safe, but not be a beacon that is glowing across the neighborhood.
Okay. And then I had another really random question. I don't know if anybody knows the answer, but does anybody know how tall the Unilever storage unit is?
Taller than this building.
That's what I was looking for.
A lot.
I like to have a visual comparison.
You may not see it just because of line of sight, because our building from Noland and such, it will disappear because our building will be tall enough and in your line of sight that I don't think you'll. Mitch and or Keegan, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Thanks.
Thank you. That helps me. I just needed my visual. 40 feet tall seems a lot taller than me, obviously, but how much taller is it than anything else?
Right.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay. Then we will see if there's anyone who would like to speak for the project in our Zoom community out there. Is there anyone who would like to speak against the project? Stuart, do we have anyone?
I'm not aware of anybody signing up to speak tonight for this case.
Okay. So, do we have any more, before I close this, the public part, do we have any more questions for the applicants? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing portion of this. Commissioners, discuss. Thoughts, dreams, hopes, motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make no bones about my enthusiasm for this project and this effort to finally bring this to fruition. With that in mind, in the matter of, I'll make a motion for approval in the matter of case number 21-810-01 for the amended preliminary development plans for Cargo Largo at 3232 South Noland Road, and my joy for the commitment of Cargo Largo to independence.
With all the conditions, correct?
With the stipulations as presented by staff.
I second.
Thank you. Commissioner Wiley seconded. All right, we are ready for roll.
Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir. Okay. Yeah, Commissioner Preston,
Yes.
Chairman McLean.
Yes. Case number, lost, what's the case number? Good grief. 21-810-01 preliminary development plan for 323 South Noland Road, Cargo Largo has been approved. So thank you all. Thank you presenters. Thank you, Mr. Pack, for your enthusiasm for independence. And I wish you well on this project. And if you need somebody to drive a bulldozer to get that road through, I'll help.
Yes.
Anything. So excited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Okay. Do we have the other business? Case 21-400-4. Nope. Do we?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. As you can see in the vicinity map, where looking at a location that's right near 35th and Lee Summit Road, about a block and a half away there on 37 Terrace, south side of the road. The applicant, Michael Bellman, representing M&M Property Pros LLC, is requesting action on the short-term rentals. So real quickly, we'll look at the zoning map. As you can see, this is a overwhelmingly single-family residential zoned area. You don't see any other zonings besides R6. Here's the aerial photograph of the property. Notice the swimming pool at the back. This is a sort of a sketch of the property, I guess. You can see. And the floor plan of the house. Michael Bellman intends to operate a short-term rental on his property located at 16609, on the property located at 16609 East 35th Terrace South. Of course, the applicant plans to advertise on Airbnb. Some of the background about operations, how the owner plans to limit the number of guests for each stay. The applicant's letter states, before accepting the rental request, we will review their profile on Airbnb, and we will only rent the house to highly rated guests. We require all renters 18 years or older to apply with principal renters, and we require the renter specify the total number of guests. The 1,400 square foot house has 3 bedrooms. While code allows up to 8 adults and 10 persons total, conditions placed on the application will set that limit at 6 adults given the number of bedrooms. This will be indicated on the Airbnb website. How the owner will handle parking if more than one vehicle arrives per bedroom. The 2-car garage and driveway can accommodate up to 4 cars. The applicant states we have only 3 bedrooms. We plan to rent the house out to out-of-state guests, and we'll check with them about the number of cars. If the number of cars is more than 4, we will decline the rental request. Next one, how owner plans to address loud, unruly guests or complaints from neighbors. The applicant states that in the unlikely event of a loud or unruly guest, we will issue 1 warning. After that, they will be asked to leave. We will have outside cameras to monitor how many people and vehicles come and go from the rental. Again, 1 warning and out. And of course, lastly, the applicant is able to, if he's unable to resolve the issues with his guests, of course, the applicant can contact the police department. The site has been inspected and approved by the city's fire department and building inspections division of community development. The applicant states he will provide the required safety items outlined in section 14.425A of the UDO. The applicant indicates trash collection for the property will be provided by Ted's Trash Service every Friday. And it should be noted, for anybody listening, if the property's use as a short-term loan does not work out, the applicant could convert the property into a standard long-term rental, as is already permitted by code. And real quickly, go through the pictures and then the recommendation. House here, looking directly south at it. And this is, I believe up the street, no, down the street to the west. And this is up the street to the east. So, staff recommends approval of this short-term rental, subject to the following conditions. The first condition, the short-term rental shall obtain business license.
Madam Chair, staff is not audible. I hear sound, but it's so muffled that I cannot hear.
Okay. The short-term rental shall obtain a business license in accordance with the city code and comply with Article 3, Chapter 5 of the city code. The occupation license number shall be listed on all advertisements and online platforms. Number 2, the business must comply with all safety and other standards established by Section 14.420 of the city code. And number 3, the house shall accommodate no more than 6 adults or 10 people total. And then after some investigation with with our health officials, I talked today about the swimming pool that's located there. We need to have a condition that the applicants obtain a permit to operate the existing pool as a commercial swimming pool. Because since it's an Airbnb, that makes that swimming pool a commercial swimming pool, and they're going to have to follow some procedures and whatnot. So.
Okay, thank you. So that's in it, that swimming pool condition would be number 4 under the conditions,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Will the applicant unmute, or Miranda let them know they can come, and then please state your name and your address.
This is Jim Seabury. It's 16600 East 35th Terrace South, Independence.
Thank you. You want to tell us a little bit about the project and?
Yes. When I didn't realize that our area was zoned for businesses. When did that happen?
Bruce?
Is this the applicant?
No, I think we've got another public member talking.
Yeah, we need to hear the applicant first, and then we'll go to the public.
My name is Michael Bellman, and I live at 4000 South Phelps Road, Independence, Missouri, just a couple minutes away from the property in mention here. And we're looking to establish an Airbnb just a few minutes from our personal property. And we would like to be able to operate it. And my wife's here as well.
We have another Airbnb in Kansas City that we've been doing for the last year, and it's done very well. We also have a property management company where we manage 350 long-term rentals, and Airbnb is a different type of rental, a lot less problems than long-term rentals. We can deal with things much easier than you can with a tenant in place. You don't have to go through the eviction process because these are short-term stays if there are problems. We have not had any problems at our other one. It's gone very, very well. We did a case study for a year, and we've decided that we want to develop this side of our business as well. We've done a lot of improvements to the property over the last 30 days. The people who the property was purchased from were not maintaining the property. There's a marked difference in the condition of the property from the time that it was purchased to what it looks like now. And we will definitely, yep.
Before we go too much further, would you mind stating your name for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Michelle Bellman, Michael's wife, and we own M&M Property Pros.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So we feel that, you know, we can maintain this. We have the history to do it. We are very familiar with long-term rentals, and then we have a year of short-term under our belt. And this is kind of the direction we want to go with our business and growing the side of it. So that's why we're requesting to do this at this property.
I'm also a broker and a licensed, licensed
broker.
I don't even know why. Anyway, real estate broker, and we flip houses. We do a lot of different things. So all in real estate.
So you're familiar with the recommendations that the city laid out for you, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how are you going to handle the swimming pool one?
Well, this is a new thing to us. So if you guys tell us what we need to do, you know, we'll follow the instructions. We've been up to the city several times. I think they know us by now. Plus, we've been a longstanding contributing member of Independence, has a business owner for a while now. And whatever you guys have asked us to do, we've done. And so I don't think the pool will be a problem. We just need to know what we need to do.
We bought several structures that have been deemed uninhabitable and turned those into good standing properties, either rentals or we've sold a few of them.
On the MLS. Yeah. We're a licensed general contractor in your city as well.
That's what I was trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow get away from
yeah.
licensed general contractor.
Yes.
We hold several business licenses as well.
Do any of the commissioners have questions of the applicant? Seth? Applicants.
Madam Chair, I've got a question.
Yes.
What is the relationship between M&M Property Pro LLC and who is and the relationship with V Assets LLC?
They are our client. They are an out-of-state investor. So we manage 15 of his long-term rentals in different cities. He doesn't have any in Independence, but he did a few years ago, but most of his are in Lee Summit and Blue Springs. And he's also wanting to venture into the short-term rental market as well as the long-term. So your requirement was that somebody had to be in a very close proximity. And since we've been managing for him for the last 3 years, he asked us if we would, you know, help him on this venture as well. So we'll be the manager. We'll be handling pretty much everything. He's just kind of outside of it, and we'll be giving him reports every month and that kind of thing.
Understood.
He actually owns the property, and we manage every aspect of it.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for commissioners?
I have a question. This is Virginia. Are you planning any landscaping in the front of that building?
So we did some already. There was a wall, we added to it, and we put some plants and mulch there. There is an issue that I need to go talk to the neighbors about. The neighbor, you can see on the front of the property to the, with the white below the brick there, they have their gutter and downspout running straight down into our yard. And I was just kind of waiting until we got this solidified with you guys before I go talk to them about that. I was going to see about if we could help them reroute it or figure out what we could do because it is causing some drainage over into our yard, and that's why it's a little barren right there and not a lot of grass because all of their runoff runs right down into this yard.
Thank you for that.
One other thing, just in the backyard, we've cleaned up the pool area was a mess. We've cleaned all that up. There was a hot tub back there. We removed it. We're not going to have that. We had a pool company out last week. They said the pool is in good working order if we want to go ahead and get it up and going. It's about 3.5 foot deep. So it's an up-ground pool with a deck around it. And we've cleaned up all the leaves and overgrowth and everything that was out there in the back. It's all been cleaned up real nice.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anybody who would like to speak for this project? Is there anyone who would like to speak against this project?
Yes,
City, do you
this
have
is
any?
Jim Seabury.
Okay,
This is Jim Seabury, 16600 East 35th Terrace,
thank you.
Independence. And, you know, we got a real quiet neighborhood here, and I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of parties going on. You know, there's 2 young girls live right next door, and then next door to them, there's 4 young girls. And, you know, it just, the thing in Wichita that kind of bothers me too. But it's a business. I didn't know we was zoned for business in this neighborhood. And we're just afraid what it's going to do to our property. We moved here in '68. We've been here for a long time.
Bruce, do you want to address the difference between, or I guess explain the difference between a business and a short-term rental?
Did you say Brian?
I mean, yeah, Brian, sorry.
It's like Brian's
Bruce?
trying to
I
figure
don't
out who
know.
Bruce was.
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Okay. A short-term rental is, in a sense, a kind of home business. But it's well, it's, you know, like in every residential district in the city right now, one can operate a long-term rental. There isn't any zoning against rental properties. A short-term rental is more like a vacation home, kind of. A short-term stay, you know, you stay a day or a week or up to 30 days. It's different than the standard bed and breakfast that we have in our code, because that's when someone stays in your home that you live in. By definition, a short-term loan or a short-term rental, I'm sorry, is a property that the owner doesn't live on the property, but there are no long-term leases. It's just like I said, it kind of functions like a little vacation home.
Thank you. Does that help you kind of understand the difference?
Yeah, if there's a problem, do we call the police? Do we call this outfit here, or who do we call? If there's a problem with partying and drinking and all this.
Hi, Jim. Could I speak on that for a second with my experience? So, one thing you should know is we do not allow locals to rent the property. Okay, so people, when we go through the screening process, we're looking for people that are coming to Kansas City for vacation, a funeral, possibly that has happened before. They have to have proof that they do not live in the Kansas City area. So we're looking for people who are really coming to do a short-term stay and not come for a party. Airbnb also has a screening process, and they have a blacklist basically of people that have been problems that they won't even make it to us. Now, I'm not saying that we would never encounter a problem, but what I can assure you is I can definitely come over and give you our information, come meet you. Like, you can call us at any time, day or night. Like my husband said, we're 5 minutes from the property. We will always call the police. That's what Airbnb protocol is.
Airbnb also has a neighborhood hotline too, that there is a number for the neighborhood, and then they automatically call the police. And then those people that would be having any kind of party or wild get together would be put on a blacklist of Airbnb. So they're really strict.
And we also have a list of house rules that they have to agree to. And in the house rules, we tell them that there are no gatherings, no parties. Only registered guests can come to the property. So if they're trying to have a family reunion or something like that, we just decline them. It's just not allowed. That's not the type of guests that we're looking for. We're looking for people to come to Kansas City to see the sights, enjoy the city, come for a family vacation, sometimes, unfortunately, for a funeral or something like that. But so we have some criteria too that we look for. We don't want any problems either. We spend a lot of money on this property, and we've invested a lot of time in it, and we want it to go just as smooth as you do.
With the pool, I'm afraid there'd be parties, but that's.
Well, there may be, they may be outside if there's the 6 guests that come, and they might have, their own little party, but we're going to have to watch that, and we're going to have to make sure that they don't have extra guests. And we do need the help of the neighbors to help us and let us know if there is a problem so we can address it right away.
For sure. And we got a camera, and we're going to put a camera in front, camera in back that monitors the property. We're looking for the pool to be more of a enticement for little kids and families to come there when they're on vacation, coming to see the Chiefs, the Royals, obviously not the Chiefs for the pool, but the Royals, the Worlds of Fun, stuff like that, but also to have a pool for the kids type of deal.
Is it correct that if you have several violations through Airbnb, neighbors reporting or people reporting, you get kicked off of that ability to do it, correct?
That is true, yes.
True.
They are very strict, and to keep a super host status or in good standings, you got to have like 5 stars. You got to have good communication. You got to have no neighborhood call-ins, things like that. So,
and I guess we should mention too that we are a super host with our other one, and that takes a lot of hard work and effort to get to that. Not everybody can attain that. And that's the goal for this property as well.
For sure, because you rise to the top of any advertisement or anything that they are putting you at Airbnb on their site. So if you have problems, call in, stuff like that, then you sink to the bottom and you don't get as good advertisement, good ratings, stuff like that. So.
Who would we call if there was a problem?
I'm sorry, what?
Who would we call if there was a problem?
You could call myself directly. We have 24/7 on our property management that we do maintenance for. So we would provide the line that would be called in for that. Also, like we had said, there's a neighborhood Airbnb call in line too. So there's several different ways to get a hold of us.
Okay.
Jim, we had another neighbor just like you who at our other property who lived there for many, many years, and he was very nervous. And we've made very good friends with him. And he's called us a couple of times, and we've come right over and really wasn't anything, but he wanted us there and we were there for him. And now he's our best ally. He calls us anytime, and you know, it's been a good thing for his street, and he actually says he likes us over the long-term rental. So, you know, we just like the opportunity to try this out, and we'll definitely come over and meet you and try to ease some of your anxiety about this and make you feel more comfortable. I hope you see the difference in the property from the people that lived there before till what it looks like now. That's our standard.
Yeah, it's a big difference from what it was.
Big difference. I actually met the people who lived there before, and they were definitely not taking care of it. They had what seemed to be traffic in and out, things going on there that I don't know. I met them for a very short period of time, but it seemed to be you couldn't have been happy with the way it was going. So I feel like you're going to be very happy with what this is going to be compared to what it was.
Okay.
Madam
We'll
Chair,
see.
Yes.
I'd like to also remind the applicant that short-term rental is operated on a license basis. And if my memory serves me well, the license is for 1 year and it has to be renewed. And the city reserves the right to rescind the license wherein the operation of the short-term rental is in violation of city code.
Sure.
Therefore, neighbors of such properties have the security of knowing not only is the property managers / owners accountable to whatever platform that they may advertise on, but they're also accountable to the city.
That's true. And we have several long-term rentals, and we have a very good relationship with Perry at your office, and we are in compliance with all of our long-term rentals. They all get registered and paid for. They all get inspected on time, and Perry can vouch for that.
And I take this opportunity to applaud the applicants for coming forward and securing a license to operate in the city of Independence.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does that give you some confidence that you've kind of got two security blankets, or three really, because they're willing to communicate with you, but also Airbnb does not allow misuse of properties. And then you've got that third security that they do have to renew in a year. And if there's been too many complaints, it won't happen. Does that help you? Make you feel a little better?
Yeah, we'll give it a try.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for attending and for your questions. Is there anyone else who would like to speak against this project? Okay. Commissioners, you have more questions of the applicant before we close the public hearing. All right, the public hearing portion of this is closed. Commissioners, any comments, observations, or I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
We are, as a family, big fans and frequent users of Airbnbs when we travel, and I understand what the implications and the difficulties are of getting superhost status. We actually seek those particular rentals out when we travel, so I know what it takes to get that, and the experience is always better with that kind of a property than otherwise. I appreciate the investment into the community and improving the neighborhood that you're going into. Unless there's any other discussion, I'll make a motion.
I think we're ready.
Okay. In the case of case 21-400-04 for short-term rental permit at 16609 East 35th Street South, with the stipulations made by staff, and with also the stipulation that the pool needs to be brought into compliance as a commercial pool, I move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're ready for a roll call.
Commissioner Dreer,
Yes.
Commissioner Ferguson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiley,
Yes.
Commissioner Michelle,
Yes.
Commissioner Weir,
He's gone.
is he gone already?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Preston
Yes.
and Chairman McLean.
Yes. Case number 21-100-04. I'm sorry, 21-400-04, yes, with the stipulations has been passed. So good luck. Thank you for, like Commissioner Michelle said, your investment into the city. And thank you, Jim, for your good questions and attentiveness to the neighborhood. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
And Jim, we'll be by to see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
All right, moving to the approval of the minutes. Give everybody a minute to read them. For any corrections? Man, I don't think we've had any corrections at all. Miranda, is this you? You're doing such a great job.
I'm sure it's Jordan's editing after.
Again, team effort. Good.
Appears to be good, Madam Chair.
Okay, so if everybody will raise your hands if you approve the minutes. Don't raise them if you don't. All right, minutes are approved. Okay. Do you have anything for us, city staff, that we need to know?
Just, we don't have another meeting in April. The next meeting, as you saw earlier in the agenda, is the one on May 11th, and we have like 3 cases for that meeting. So again, no meeting the rest of the month.
All right, thank you.
And May only has 1 meeting as well because of budget.
Geez, you guys are gonna miss us.
And you believe that that will be virtual?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody have any comments or good news or anything you'd like to share?
Fully vaccinated as of 2 weeks ago.
Great.
Yes. Congratulations.
I too, I confess, my wife and I received our second Pfizer vaccination this past Saturday. I tell you, it's a liberating feeling.
It really is. I got to hug my dad for the first and mom in the first time in over a year. It was really nice. I wasn't sure he was going to let go of me, but that's okay.
Everybody in our bubble is now vaccinated, so we're all feeling pretty confident.
That's great.
Yep. Okay. Well, another good meeting. I really think this group of commissioners, you all are so good and so diligent and ask such good questions. And it's interesting. I was telling Commissioner Preston that it's interesting because everybody has their different viewpoints, and we've got Commissioner Michelle as an architect, which is just huge to have that institutional knowledge. Graphic design. Everybody comes at it with different views, and I think that's such a healthy thing to have on this planning commission. So I am grateful to all of you for asking good questions and not afraid to ask good questions and looking at things from all sides. I think it's really, really important and good work. So thank you all. And thank you, City, too. You guys do a great job vetting it for us.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
The only improvement I think that could happen if the learned counselor, city prosecutor / city attorney would come forward with the piano.
He's not even unmuting for you.
He won't even unmute.
I just did. You really want me to do that? I'll do that at the next meeting.
Okay.
I think it'll be a welcome to that 10 minutes that we're transitioning to the meeting, to have a nice piano.
All right.
5 minutes prior, You know, that would be really nice.
I'll do it.
Nice,
Commissioner
a little
Preston,
prelude. That's
Yeah.
good.
Commissioner-
It's recorded.
You never know what you get if you ask.
That's true.
Commissioner Preston, how do we transition back to in-person meetings without piano?
Well, he does piano in piano. Oh,
I have a mobile one somewhere. I'm sure we could plug the mirror into that. All right, it's
it's an
recorded,
incredible group,
so
Madam Chair. A wonderful group
Prelude.
of commissioners.
it is.
Thank
All
you.
right, everybody, have a great week, and I'll see you next month.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks,
Bye.
everyone.